We do have a large population of ELL students, but definitely I think that the screener is good for everything. So the great thing is there's so many different areas, so many different domains, that you have an ELL student or any student who comes in, they might be proficient in one area, so their development is at grade level or on kindergarten level when they come in one domain, but then perhaps I need to focus on a different domain. It helps you look at the whole child and pick out where it is you need to focus.
The snapshot tool that's in the TS Gold, when I showed it to the parents at the conference, both the Spanish-speaking one through the interpreter and the English-speaking parent that saw the graph, they could easily see where their child was, how much growth they've made in each area, and where the challenges still were. And it helped me to focus in the spring on that last little push that we needed to do.
Who are they when they come in is especially for the ELL, is very different 2, even 3 weeks later when they understand the routine and are comfortable with me. So it is very different, and I do I weight on my scores on those certain children because of that barrier with language. And I found out with one of my little girls, I would have had her on a probably 2 or 3. Now, 2 weeks in, she's like a 5 or 6 because of that insecurity of, I am afraid she's not going to understand me, I don't know how to communicate. And now that she understands that we find ways, we make it work, she's comfortable, she likes being here now. So it just, as much as I want to take it when they walk in the door, that data, I wait and really make sure before I give the scores to see if this is truly who this little girl or little boy is.
Girl and a cat. Now, what does the cat have on its head? Hat. Listen, cat, hat. Do you think that rhymes? Yeah. Okay, so I found this activity where they would, I call it a game, where they would be able to rhyme with the animal pictures, because a lot of the students that we have are second language students, and so I was trying to find something that they would be familiar with in terms of pictures and names of things. So it was a pretty quick, fast assessment of whether they could rhyme or not. And then if they could rhyme, I was asking them to generate rhymes.
See, there's a cat.
Cat, okay. It's important for me to make sure that they understand my directions and that they understand what I'm asking them, because I want an accurate score, and I don't want that to impede my ability to understand where they are on the continuum. After the hat page.
I don't think that language is the barrier to be able to doing the task. I do believe it's the barrier to be able to understand the task.
You see those? Mm-hmm. What I want you to do is sort your buttons. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
My children that come to me are highly ELL, and most of them don't understand the word sort. So if I say sort to them and they don't understand, then I've learned to say, can you put them in piles? Put some here, some here, some here, and some here. And then I just let them kind of work it out. Sometimes they can, sometimes they need a little bit of further probing, but it's a good way for me to see, can they change their thinking? Can they move forward from there?
And a lot of times what I find is, if I repeat the activity with them a couple times, I begin to see they actually know the concept, and it's just the language that they're having trouble with.
The package that was bought to be the tool that we use has some things in Spanish, but nothing in the other languages. And we feel a lot of the, for example, cognitive skills, or does the child talk about an experience in the past? Yes, in his language. Can I understand it? No. I might not have a Chinese interpreter there while I'm doing that specific activity. So I feel that it causes their scores to be lower than where they really are.
The social emotional domain is one of the hardest ones to collect data on, because there isn't really a checklist you can do. There isn't really, a test that you can give them for that. It's something that you need to observe. In the classroom, it's hard to do that when you're doing teacher-directed activities. So the only thing that I've really been able to be successful at in the classroom with them is to give them some choice time. And I watch them as they're building block towers, and I watch them as they're doing puzzles with their friends. And I go in during PE and watch them play when they're doing activities, and I go out during my lunchtime and I watch them at recess.
in some cases, because I do speak another language, I can determine whether or not they can have an exchange with, with a friend in their language. So even though I'm not scoring it in English, that does give me more information about whether or not they're verbal or nonverbal.
I do try to do smaller groups when they're ELL, especially if they're quieter. I don't speak Spanish, I don't understand it, but I do watch their interactions when they're playing games, because if they're with a child that speaks Spanish, you can tell right away they're more comfortable.
And when they're in a pile,
they're able and capable of so much, and you really want to get them in the environment that shows that. So other than that, I give them the same assessments, I, look at the same data samples and all of that. Just I'm more thoughtful of how I'm giving the assessment to set them up, as best for success as possible, like any student.
I'm putting the triangle right here.